Hello, dumpsterinos and frugalistas. It is so hard for somebody with the volume I can create to try to tone it down and talk like a normal person. And everybody always tells me I yell, which I hate. And I'm trying to talk normally. I just don't trust my phone to be picking up my voice. So if you can't hear me, blame it on all the people who complain about how loud I am. So, it is blazingly hot out. I stink like you can't imagine. I've been doing yard work, and that makes it the perfect time to discuss some weird frugal things I like to do that I bet a lot of people would say, you are such an idiot. That is not worth the time and trouble. But I do them anyway, and I think it's just part of having this frugal mindset of not wasting and making use of what you have and trying to be creative and challenge yourself and just not get bored and be a crazy person. I don't know what. The first thing that crazy frugal mommy does is do carrots. And what is the word you use when you're going from something small to something big? Which is it's a logical fallacy, but what is it? When you extrapolate, is that the word I'm looking for? But anyway, you can extrapolate this carrot technique to other fruits and vegetables. I'll explain. I'm making this little veggie platter for the kids just to snack on. They love the sliced peppers. I was going to do cucumbers, but then they asked for the pickles, and so I put these little sweet gherkins here, and somebody tell me what's the difference between gherkins and cornichons? And all is the same thing. These are sweet gherkins. Anyway, I'm going to put carrot sticks here. Carrot. When I eat a carrot, I don't peel it. I wash it and I just eat the whole thing. But the girls like them peeled because their father has trained them to think that you need to peel them. So for them, I was going to peel the carrots. But what are you going to do with those carrot peelings? You cannot waste them. Now, people who like to make their own vegetable broth or soup, you can just bag up those carrot peelings and throw them in the freezer with all your other string bean ends and leftover peas and zucchini ends and whatever vegetables, some onion skins, you can boil them up to make your broth. You could do that. I, myself, since I'm making a salad for myself, I'm just going to peel the carrots on to my salad, and I am going to eat the peels. Because that's a legitimate thing, don't you think? To shred carrots onto your salad, and I washed the carrot. It's not dirty. And if I ate the whole carrot, I would have eaten these bits anyway. So I figure instead of cutting up a whole carrot for my salad, I'm just going to make use of these carrot shreds thusly. I just shot one onto the floor. So some people would not want to eat the carrot peelings. I think there are hungry people all over the world that would love to have these carrot peelings. And I am one of those people. So, I mean, it's not a lot, but that's enough. I don't really need more than that. And then I can just proceed to cut up my carrots into little carrot sticks for them. So, now what I was saying about extrapolating to other fruits and vegetables, I do something similar when I'm giving the girls mangoes. This is going to sound weird probably, but with the mangoes, when I peel a mango for them, I save the skins and I will throw them into my smoothie when I'm blending it up because I figure the skin is food and the skins always seem to have nutrition. So why not? I'm not going to really taste it in the smoothie. It's just going to add a little fiber and nutrition, so why not? And I tried for a while actually adding eggshells. Look, see? There you go. So eggshells, like I was saying. So there was a time I was adding eggshells. Not the whole egg, not a raw egg, which I've done too, but just the eggshell I was putting into my smoothie because I thought, this is a good use of calcium. And I'm going to absorb that calcium. It did have a texture that I wasn't in love with. I'm kind of back to just putting eggshells in the garden now, but let me deliver this to the frugal baby princesses now, and then we will get on with our weird frugal habits of the frugal mommy who's a weirdo, and stay tuned. Okay, frugal weirdo practice number 2, Ugg boots. I've seen signs at dry cleaners that say, we clean Ugg boots. And it makes you think, oh, guess I need to take my Uggs to the dry cleaners and pay for them to clean them, but I'm not going to do that. So I just throw them in the washing machine. I tried it once. Worked out fine. So that's what I do. I don't put them in the dryer, of course. I put them here on the radiator. This is actually the radiator. I know it's hard to see because the window's behind it, but I just kind of wanted you to see that. Put them on the radiator to dry. It's super hot out, so we have the window open. Sometimes the cat's sleeping in that window, and it's so cute. I usually put a blanket there for him, but he's not there today to be cute. So I just, you know, they get muddy. I mean, my kids wear these like all fall and winter. And then obviously the big ones I wear. But they come pretty clean in the washing machine, and that's going to save a lot of money over dry cleaning. Like, some people in their dry cleaning bills, it's crazy. Well, if these are kind of yellow and discolored, and you want to whiten them, but you can't afford the fancy tooth whitening kits or the procedure at the dentist's office. That was... if your teeth are ugly, yellow, and discolored like mine, and you wish they were whiter, but you can't afford those expensive whitening treatments, or going to the dentist and, you know, having it done, or getting all that expensive. I don't know what works and what doesn't, but I'm just going to tell you, hydrogen peroxide is your little cheapo friend. Really cheap. I mean, this stuff is really cheap. Miracle in a bottle. It does so many things. I have not done a scientific experiment on this. I don't know if it's true. It's just one of the crazy things my grandmother told me. But she used to rinse her mouth with hydrogen peroxide, and she thought it whitened her teeth and just did a good job cleaning, getting rid of the bacteria. Don't swallow it. And it doesn't taste fabulous, but I have put a lot worse things in my mouth. Let me assure you, worse than hydrogen peroxide. But no, it doesn't taste great. Do not swallow it, though. And it even says on it, hydrogen peroxide, topical solution, first aid, antiseptic, oral debriding agent. Oral. That means your mouth. I don't know the debriding agent part, and I am not going to bother to Google it, but oral. It obviously means you can put it in your mouth. Just don't swallow it. Ah! It says it! For use as a gargle or rinse. See, my grandmother didn't make that up. So, foaming in my mouth. I rinse it with water, spit it all out. It does foam, which is always fun. I think I need to rinse a little bit more. I feel like I'm rabid. But I don't know, maybe everybody already knew this little frugal tip with hydrogen peroxide about whitening your teeth, and Nana said it, and so does the bottle, and I just feel so much cleaner and fresher. Also remember, just like Fonzie told Richie, don't forget to brush your tongue. One other thing about hydrogen peroxide. You know how everybody says, oh, use hydrogen peroxide to get blood out of clothing if you have blood on cloth. And there are a lot of occasions in life where you might have blood on fabric. So, use hydrogen peroxide to get it out because it bubbles and everything. It's fun to watch it bubble, but I say no. And this is just my opinion, but I think I'm right. No. Do not use hydrogen peroxide on your clothing because I'm going to say it like it's truth, but just remember, this is my opinion. It's not going to get the blood out. It's going to leave a stain. Why? Because for the same reason that you don't get blood out with hot water, heat changes the blood. My older daughter's explained it to me. I can't remember what she said. Heat and proteins, something, but it's going to stain. That's why you always wash your bloody fabric. That sounds so gross saying it that way. Wash your bloody fabric. Oh, wash our bloody rags with cold water. Cold, as icy cold as you can get if you want to get the blood stains out. Always cold water, not hot water. Same for ketchup stains and chocolate stains. Cold. The heat will set the stain. When you put hydrogen peroxide on your bloody fabric and it starts to bubble and everything, feel it. It gets hot. It has this chemical reaction. It is warm. And then you rinse, you scrub, and you're like, some of the blood came out, but there's still a stain. That's because it got hot, in my opinion, which I said before, because I'm not a scientist, and I don't like science, but that's what I think. If heat makes the stain set, and this creates a chemical reaction that puts off heat, then you're not going to get the blood stain out, my opinion, but I'm right. So don't use this. Use icy cold water and soap. Maybe a little scrub brush. We're outside now in the yard for my frugal, cheap-ass tips for the yard. Just what I've been doing recently, and I don't think anybody else would bother to do this, but that's just me. So, this is my fence line on the side of my yard, and see all these daisies? Well, these are the wild little daisies that were just growing on the sidewalk out here. We have this brick sidewalk, and we weeded it recently, so it's looking pretty good, but normally it's like walking through a jungle, and there are lots and lots of weeds that have to get tossed. But these daisies, which I know a lot of people would consider a weed, like that's not a real daisy, that's a weed. But to me, that's a free daisy. So when I was weeding out here, I pulled the daisies and I replanted them over by the fence line so that they wouldn't just be growing in the sidewalk and be in people's way and act like a weed when you're obviously much more than a weed. I started this last year. So I pulled up a bunch of daisies last year. I mean, some were already growing by the fence line, but I planted them by the fence line because I thought it would soften the look of the fence, which is obviously very hard and pointy and scary and not cozy, cute, and daisy-like. So anyway, I thought it would soften the look of the fence. So last year I transplanted a bunch, and it looked like they died pretty much right away, for the most part. Similar to this one that I transplanted this year. Now, that one's not looking so great. See, these are all of the transplants I just did, and they are looking kind of dead. There are a few more up there. But the thing is, these all that are so bushy and beautiful and full and alive, they looked dead last year when I did it. I was like, oh, this didn't work very well. They don't have enough good dirt to grow in, and they're not getting enough water regularly, and da-da-da. But this year they came up. I mean, that's the great thing about wildflowers. Like, they come up. This is God's way, people. And so they came back strong. So I'm hopeful that these other ones that I just did this year are going to come back strong next spring. So then we have the situation with the yard and the grass. We used to have pretty nice grass, but then when we got the German Shepherd puppy, and she and Flash just run all over this yard together, and they follow certain paths. There are certain spots, especially over by the fence line, because they just run up and down the fence line when anybody walks a dog over. They have just ruined all the grass over here. Like, there just isn't grass. So Daddy put down grass seed, but it's really hard for the grass seed to grow when the dogs are still running all over the place. It's like having baby grass seed down and then having racehorses just come. It's not going to work. But amazingly enough, my grass grows really well in the cracks of my brick walkway here. So this is always an ongoing project for me every spring and summer. I'm just constantly, neurotically, psychotically trying to pull these weeds. But if I have a lot of them, I'll throw them in the compost. And if I just have a couple, I toss them in the yard. But, okay, now work with me here, Frugalistas. This is the thing I think most people aren't going to bother to do. But it was an experiment. Yeah, because I am such a scientist. So right here in this corner, that was all dead. There was no grass here whatsoever. It was just the dirt, right? So what I started to do is, as I picked the weeds from the brick path, if it was grass and not a dandelion, I brought the little tuft of grass over here, and I just started putting them down, like mashing, and they were little. I mean, this is so many little weeds I pulled of grass, but just putting them down one next to the other, watering it, and they lived. Like, we have grass in this corner now. It's alive. So I think what I'm going to continue to do as I pull these weeds, and it's a good chunk of grass with some dirt on the roots, I'm going to bring it over and just try to fill in some of these spots, because the grass seed is not going to work with these dogs. And I think if I put some of these down and water them, I know some are going to live, and then we can kind of grass seed around them maybe, and maybe these will like protect the new baby grass a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, I know how many people would pick weeds and then go use them to create their lawn. I'll show you how, right? So you have that little hole. You come over here and you try to pull up this tuft of grass, because that looks like a decent tuft. Looks like a big one, actually. Pull it up gently, because you don't want to damage all the roots. Oof! Oof, there you go. And it comes out with its roots and some dirt from between the bricks. You just go over here and start to kind of patch it in and layer them. This woman is so freaking cheap. There we go. Patch it in. If it wasn't for weeds mixed in, I wouldn't have any lawn at all. Look at all that clover. I stepped out the back door to look for Frugal Daddy, and I guess he found these in the trash recently. He did not show them to me yet, but we have 2 Marilyn Monroe canvases. I just had the best idea. This is bonus material. It's my idea for us frugalistas and dumpsterinos, you and me. Okay, people could suggest different foods in the comment section below. You know, whatever you want to suggest. Carrots, tomatoes, lamb, bacon, I don't know, food, you know food. And I would take all the suggestions and then kind of rate each one in terms of how much it would cost. Right? And so let's say the idea is to then pick, I don't know, $10 worth of food to make dinner for 5. So what we would do is I'd have different, I'm picturing like a wizard's velvety bag of magic, but it would, so I don't know, somewhere I'll write the suggestions down, and we'll have kind of like the $1 suggestions, the $2 suggestions, the $3 suggestions, a $4 suggestion, and then each week I could pick from each bag, just randomly pick until it hit the $10, and then I have to just cook whatever with that food that was chosen, randomly and magically, and, you know, cook it and show what I can make. People can leave a lot of suggestions, but don't suggest something like calf's liver, because I'm just not going to write that down, because I'm not going to eat that. You come up with the food items, I pick, and, oh, even better, so interactive. So on the little piece of paper where I've written carrots, then, of course, duh, I write your name, whoever left the suggestion. So I'm like, okay, tonight we're going to have, $1 worth of carrots as suggested by Munchin' and Chattin'. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then, oh, look, I'm going to do $3 worth of bacon suggested by, I don't know, you could get mentioned. It's like honorable mention. Like, the dinner is on you. Dinner on you. Except you don't have to pay for it. You just have to suggest it. Shall we try it? Go ahead, do it. Suggest some sort of food down there. Just trying to keep things fresh and lively here at frickin' Frugal, New Jersey Suburban Homestead. So, suggest the foods. Tell me your frugal tips. Just the most very extreme ones. The ones you don't dare tell a soul. The ones you keep hidden in the secret recesses of your frugal little minds. Tell me those. That's what I want to hear. And I'll try those too. Oh, yes! Another series. Love you, frugalistas. Suggest super extreme frugal things, and we'll try it and make a video about it. Like, have you ever done this, Frugal Mommy? I do this. And if I've never done it, I'll say, okay, we'll try that. Yes, let's do that too. I hope to see lots of exciting responses, because I feel like, yay, new things to do, fun, new adventures, new horizons. You and me, dumpsterinos, on the go. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to read your comments. I will see you soon. Hasta la vista.